So I am back and absolutely buzzing from my trip yesterday to the Oxford Artisan Distillery. We were shown around yesterday by cheeky duo Chico and Charlie, and we had such a laugh. Where to begin? Good morning, welcome, hello. We are up early today, as you can probably tell from my eyes. One, because I've a one-year-old daughter, and two, because we are off to Oxford, to the Oxford Artisan Distillery, colloquially referred to as T.O.A.D, the Oxford Artisan Distillery. This is going to be fun. I don't know too much about it. Very excited to head down there and to explore what they've got going on. So without further ado, let's get on the M1. We have arrived. Here we go. This is it, the Oxford Artisan Distillery. Can't lie, I'm bursting for the toilet. I've been on the motorway for the last 2 hours and I need to go. But here we are, we got Charlie, we got Chico, and they're sending me into a toilet outside. Is that it?
Yeah, straight toilets, yeah.
Okay. I love it. I love it. It's definitely glamping vibe.
Where the magic happens.
Square calls.
I know. Everything in this distillery, despite the stills, is refurbished. So I mean, this is like a John Smith yeast propagation tank that we use now to proof our spirits. That one over there, the big one, was our hot dogger tank, and then turned into our mash tun. And nowadays is our fermentation tank. Current mash tun over there came from the paint industry. It used to mix paint, but it actually works fine to mix some grain.
And the stills, they're new? They're custom made?
They stills are the only thing new and custom made here in this facility.
So behind me here we've got Nautilus. This is the main still that almost all the liquid produced by the Oxford Artisan Distillery goes through. This column effectively sits on top of the other column, making it a 42 plate column. Their neutral spirit for their vodka and for their gin, when they run it through for a second time, they're getting off at about 96.4% alcohol. Or flip that switch at the top there and just use it as a pot still that rises up and down through the condenser. They've got their rye whiskey going through here as well, their new make that goes into all different types of cask. This is the main deal, this is where it's all happening. This here is their second still, this is called Nemo, and actually at the moment it's not in operation. I think it's leaking. Pot still that will be connected through the column if they want it, along the top and down through the condenser. I really love how different these stills are. It's so different to any of the other distilleries I've ever been to. I mean, just look at it. Absolutely magic.
Oh, that's so good, by the way.
So I've just learned something really, really fun. So behind me here is the steam boiler. That's the steam that they use to generate the heat in the stills. Now to get the heat, steam, to the still, they've run pipes underneath the ground, underneath here. Now as you can see, it's a little bit drier here because there's the heat from the steam arm, that's the heat escaping. So actually when you touch it, it's warm. It's lovely, it's really nice. However, because it's so close to the surface, as the trucks coming through to deliver the grains, they're so heavy, they've actually burst the pipes, and hence why outside the distillery, it looks like New York like 30 years ago. Very atmospheric, I love it. I think we found the lab.
That wormwood was from here, but most of the botanicals we harvested from the Oxford Botanic Gardens. Yeah. And that's the oldest botanic gardens in Britain. So one man has bottled every spirit that comes out of this distillery. He's unbelievable.
What's his name?
Sean, I'm showing off the bottling line.
He's in the flow.
He's always in the flow. John used to work in Oxford's records stores and at scene big time, so we always kind of joke that he's DJing the bottling line. Bottling line.
So this is Oxford Rye Whiskey. Oh, it's actually just 1 year old. It's a good example of our new make.
Whoa. The finish on that just completely flips from the aroma. As soon as the oxygen gets your mouth, it just goes, flips. Black tea.
Oh, loads. Like really tannic like tea.
Yeah. Werther's Originals and caramel and black tea. That's really cool. I can't drink just because I'm driving. What shall I do in there?
I'll bless the cascade. This whiskey around milk is beautiful.
Delicious. So I think one of the biggest takeaways yesterday was this idea of heritage grains. All of the grains are coming from within a 50-mile radius. There's a chap working there called John Letts. He is the head of grain, a Canadian chap that's been pioneering heritage grains and old school methods of farming to reduce climate change and to improve crop harvests. This is one of their fields. What you can see at the front is a whole load of wild flowers. They're just allowing nature to do its thing. And this creates a biodiversity which protects the grains. You allow nature to take over and you control it less. You end up with variety and variation. Terroir. This is a long-term project, and over the years their grains will develop, they will evolve, they will change, and that's something they're embracing, hence this artisanal distillery.
So John grew this corn not for the distillery. He grew it as an experiment. These are all heritage varieties of corn. And when he harvested them in 2017, they started fermenting naturally. What am I going to do with fermenting grains? Oh, I know what to do with fermenting grains. Go over here. The mash bill for this is our mash bill for rye whiskey, because we woke up that day to make rye, plus 51. This is essentially the bourbon process, but we can't use that word because it's an appellation, so it's called corn whiskey. Ironically, if we made it in the US, we couldn't call it corn whiskey, we'd have to call it bourbon.
From the same field.
Wow.
Everything grows together.
Not all our grains cross-pollinate, by the way. I think we've already touched on this, but I'll say in a bit more detail. Rye cross-pollinates and cross-mutates.
It's one of the ambassadors of diversity.
It cross-pollinates, and corn does too.
I'm very poetic nowadays.
Delicious. I hope this has been interesting. Something slightly different for me to go to a distillery that's majoring in rye whiskey, but a really, really cool one to get to. It's an awesome distillery. I urge you to go. They've got a fantastic bar there as well, and they do lots of distillery tours. I hope it inspires you to get out there and learn more about the different variety of spirits out there as well. Thanks for watching. As always, please subscribe, and I will see you soon.